In this video, we will work on the V2 alternate technique, the V2 technique, and work on improving the V1 technique and include hill climbing. But first, here's a review of the 7 gears of skate skiing.
All right, so today we're continuing with skate skiing. We're going to go to advanced intermediate for skate skiing. One of the things we're going to work on is climbing a hill with V1. So far I've been showing V1 just on easy little hills or flat. That's where you'll begin to learn. Now we're going to go up a steeper hill. We're also going to work a lot on V2 alternate. I'll have kind of repetitive sequences with voiceover to talk about some of the different things we're working on with that. And then I'll also just briefly at the end introduce V2 more formally. So hope you have a great time. I'm out here again at Tahoe cross country, and oh my gosh, crazy spectacular day. So first we'll start with V2 alternate. See that I'm pulling off on my right side and then going onto a free left ski, and take note of the hand position. So in slow motion, you can see that as my left ski is coming back, my pulls are already up at the top of the stroke, just a little before the left ski comes over. And you can see that when the left ski comes back, it's coming back and almost kissing the right ski boot. As far as my hands go, they stay relatively close in to my shoulders, just a little bit out. And I start with a flexed arm at the elbow. The arm does get straight toward the end of the stroke, and you'll notice that my hands go out back. At the very end, as you extend your wrists backward, you get a little bit more force and therefore propulsion from that. Now I'm just coming from a different direction so you can see it in a different way. Ideally, I should be landing far out on the ski on both sides. Part of what helped me to learn this in the beginning was the idea of landing almost out on the 5th toe on the lateral side of the foot. I would go slightly past flat simply because it's hard to get all the way out on a flat ski, so you can go slightly beyond, and that ensures that you'll have a flat ski during some of the glide phase. And additionally, you'll need orthotics in order to be able to ride a flat ski for quite a while. Notice how long I am on each ski. It does take skiers usually a few years of practice to be able to stay out on the ski a relatively long time on each side. So don't be discouraged if at first you're not able to stay out on the ski all that long, but make that a goal over time. When you are out on the ski during the glide phase, that is all free energy. If the ski is fairly flat, you'll really fly along and it's all free. Notice also that right before the push phase with the poles, my body comes up like a piston and then I push down. So I'm up and then down and then up and then down. During the down phase with the poles, I'm also using my core, flexing it down. And if I were racing, I would be doing it somewhat more aggressively. It would be more obvious to see. This is a brief drill on trying to ride a flat ski for a long time. Okay, yeah, so just a minute ago I skied down here on new untracked snow. What I wanted to demonstrate is what happens to the ski when it's flat versus curved in on its edge. And of course, a flat ski is fast. Once you go on the edge, all that friction loads up on the edge and it slows you down. So we try to stay on a fast ski for quite a while. So coming onto this ski, you can actually see the groove in the middle bottom of the ski. That's what's creating that middle groove. And you can, so that means the ski was flat right in this section, and then still pretty flat. Right about here, I started to get on my edge a little, and when that happens, the track starts to curve out. Cross-country skis are reverse camber. So when we go on our middle edge, unlike downhill skis that curve in, these suckers curve out. So this is a way you can test getting on a flat ski. If we go to the next track, we see sort of the same thing. We see the middle of the ski, the little line initially, and then we see as I started to go on the inside edge later, the track starts to curve out slightly. But what I will say is if you look at these lines from afar, they're pretty darn straight lines. They're only curving out slightly. So in reality, I'm on a pretty flat ski. So this is a good thing you can do when you have brand new, freshly groomed snow, which in a teaching area, they groom it each night, at least on the weekend, definitely. And you can practice this to try to get on a flat ski. Remember that to get on a flat ski, you're almost for sure going to need to buy custom orthotics so that you can really stay committed and be on that ski a long time to get these longer lines. So here I am getting ready to come up a steeper hill. When the hill gets steeper, the technique has to be driven in more carefully. Certain things to really focus on when the hill gets steeper is the idea of pulling your medial thigh up the hill, being sure to keep the knees out like you're riding a big wide horse. And you'll see that as the hill gets steeper, in theory, my knees should get wider and wider apart. And if you look, sure enough, that's what's happening. That means the hill is really steep. You don't need that so much when it's flat, but when it gets steep, you need your knees way out there and you need to really commit to the skis. Okay, so now we'll look in slow motion. As the hill gets steeper, my knees get farther and farther out over the skis. Also, generally, as the hill gets steeper, you'll be leaning farther and farther forward with the idea of flexing, especially at the ankles, up the hill. Not that you're bending and crumpling at the waist, but doing a lot of it from the ankles. It's a bit subtle, but when I'm coming down on the left side, on the strong side, I'm flexing my core somewhat and then snapping back up somewhat as I go onto the right ski. I will show more of that later. So I will also introduce V2 briefly, and then in the low advanced video, we will dig into V2 a lot more. So in V2, you'll be pushing off with the poles on both sides. You'll notice that my poles come up and are ready just shortly before the opposite leg is coming in and right before the boots get close and almost kiss. But the hands are ready slightly ahead of that. I am also really committing to the outside of each ski so that I get a flat ski and a good glide on both sides. My hand position starts out like V2 alternate, but you'll notice that once my hands get a little bit past my hips, I snap them back forward to be ready for the next stroke. Just like in V2 alternate, the body works like a piston. It comes up before I do the pole push on each side, goes down in the middle, and then up again. So it's up on one side with the poles ready, down, and then up on the other side. Add to the compression down with the poles a little bit of flexion of your core muscles. So in this advanced intermediate skating video, we have reviewed a lot. We started with V2 alternate and a beginning on that gear. We also refined further V1, especially going up hills, and then introduced V2 briefly. We also showed the exercise of trying to ski in a straight line on freshly tilled snow in the morning so you can look at your tracks. Hope you enjoyed this video.